Quick question. Have you ever heard of a book called Man's Search for Meaning? Now that is one of my favorite books of all time. If you've never read it, I highly recommend it. It's Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And it's an autobiography of a Holocaust survivor who recounts the atrocities he went through and what he used to get through it and to come out alive to tell the story. Now, Viktor was a psychologist, and he employed a lot of mental tactics to get through the Holocaust. I mean, it was possibly the worst thing anyone could go through. Your family is being killed, your spouse is being tortured. You don't know when you're gonna die. You're just pretty much living day by day. And the only thing you could do is survive one day at a time. So he actually employed 3 tactics to survive the Holocaust. And if you actually employ these 3 tactics, you'll survive life. It'll make your life much more happier and more fulfilled. Now, very simply, every single day he picked one thing to be grateful for. Now, he was subjected to the most horrific things any person can go through. However, despite all that, he found something to be grateful for every single day. That's the same thing with your life. Sometimes if you tend to focus on the things that are missing or the things that can be improved, you'll feel a little ungrateful. You'll feel like something is, lacking in your life. However, if you focus on all the amazing things that you're grateful for, you'll be so much happier. I mean, just think about the simplest thing is just to focus on being alive, breathing, smiling, be able to have eyes to see this video. I mean, there's so much great things, but if you just fine tune and focus one thing each day that you're grateful for, you'll see a tremendous difference in the way you look at life. Number 2, he found a way to make himself laugh. Now, this was really tough. Imagine being in a concentration camp and you're just surrounded by despair, death, and just all types of mental anguish. And if you focus on something that makes you laugh, it's pretty difficult to find. But no matter what, he found something that made him laugh, whether it was a funny looking guard or the way a certain person walked. It wasn't any type of harm or negative type of humor, but he found the lightheartedness of everything around him. Now, if you focus on one thing that makes you laugh every single day, you'll feel much happier, because when you're laughing, you have no time to let any negative thoughts or depression or anxiety to manifest in your mind. The third thing, he found a way to help every single person at least once a day. Now, in the concentration camp, there's not much you could do because you're subjected to the worst things possible. I mean, there were some days where he was out in ice cold weather without any shoes, barely wearing anything to keep himself warm. So he really didn't have much to help other people with, but he thought about it in the simplest way of aiding a compliment or giving some of his food to somebody. He didn't have much food himself, he was starving to death, but the littlest piece of food, the smallest morsel of bread would make somebody's life. And even like his own food, they were eating this type of fish soup. It was simply water and a fish's head in it. And instead of thinking how nasty and disgusting it was, I mean, he was hungry, he was surviving, starving, he would imagine it to be this gourmet, delicious fish soup. And even that he would give to his fellow comrades to make their day better. And if you notice, these are really 3 simple things to do. I mean, if you set aside like literally a few minutes a day and focus on those 3, you'll see your life taking on a much bigger meaning. Of course, you'll feel more fulfilled, but you'll take a little bit of time each day to realize how lucky you are. And when you get a chance, I highly recommend you read that book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, if you haven't done so. Trust me, you'll love it. I'm AJ, and I'm committed to your peak physique.